You're up to Book.xx here, and welcome to a video that I actually wasn't planning until like literally a couple hours ago. So if you follow me on Twitter, which basically none of you do, link in the description, go follow me on Twitter. I put out some random shit over there all the time. I don't know, it's the social media I'm the most active on. And well, aside from YouTube obviously. Yeah, as I said, I wasn't planning this video until like literally a couple hours ago when I watched the new episode of Wandavision. And I've wanted to make a video about Wandavision for a while, but today's episode really like pushed me over and made me really want to do it because holy fuck, like you know what, let's start from the beginning. So I found out about all the MCU TV shows a while back. I originally actually didn't really like the idea of it because I'm not really a big TV show guy. I prefer movies over TV shows, but recently, and by recently I mean like around December time, I started watching more TV shows. Like I watched Agent Carter, like the MCU shows. I watched Agent Carter, the first. I watched the first two. There only is 2 seasons. I watched both seasons of that, and after that I started to watch the Defenders stuff on Netflix. I'm currently on Jessica Jones season 2 because I'm watching them in like chronological order. And then the actual MCU shows started to come out like a couple weeks ago. 5 weeks ago actually, and or 4 weeks ago, yeah, because the first 2 episodes came out on the same day, and that was WandaVision, and holy shit, it is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Like, when I heard it was based off of the storyline where in the comics where fucking Wanda goes off with Vision and all this shit, like, I had a feeling like this is exactly what it was going to be. I thought there was going to be some hints and shit and like to the real world. Spoilers, but for WandaVision, by the way, I feel like it's a bit late to be saying end of the video to be saying that, but yeah, there's obviously going to be spoilers for WandaVision in this, so you've been warned. I might say that in the title, it might not. Either way, I'm saying it now, so there are going to be spoilers for WandaVision. So the first episode, this is basically going to be a rundown on WandaVision. I'll get to the stuff in episode 5 later. Just like because I might do this weekly now. So whenever the episodes come out. So just want you to know my opinion on the first 2 episodes, for the first like couple episodes. Episode 1, the intro. I swear to God, I laughed at that shit. I thought that was funny, and like I saw all the hints in it to like towards the outer thing, but I was mostly just enjoying it because it was a parody of 60s TV shows. Same really goes for episode 2. Like I saw the like the hints and shit, like obviously the radio stuff, the helicopter. I saw all that stuff, but I was really just enjoying it because it was a funny thing. Like that's another thing. I don't just enjoy this because it's like all this meta shit. I also just enjoy some of the jokes like that because I like parodies of older stuff. Episode 3, I don't really actually. Oh, yeah, episode 3. That one is definitely where it's starting to get a little bit more of the meta side of things, and all the like the actual TV show stuff took a bit of a backseat in episode 3. It was more just sort of like trying to set up like, oh, this is kind of where we're going with this. It was definitely interesting. Although whenever Monica Rambeau walked in, like they were calling her fucking Geraldine or whatever the fuck they were calling her. I swear to God, I knew that was Monica Rambeau from the minute I saw her. Like I swear to God, it was so like. Probably because I had seen pictures of the actress before, but yeah, it was like I saw it coming. But no, episode 3 was probably one of my least favorites. I didn't really enjoy that one as much. Episode 4 was one where we finally got to see what was going on behind the scenes. It was basically like it was basically all exposition, but it was really, really good. That was my favorite episode at the time. Just sort of explaining how the whole thing goes down. Darcy came back, first time seeing her since Through the Dark World. Seeing how everything happened behind the scenes. That was a fantastic episode. That was the one that I feel like really tipped people who weren't liking it into liking it. And then episode 5 came out this week, and it was a mixture of the sitcom stuff. And this time the sitcom stuff was actually funny, unlike in episode 3. Like, I don't know, a lot of it was more funny. There was obviously a lot more hinting at the real life stuff in it, but there was also actual real life stuff in it. You know, Darcy was still there, and Monica was there, fucking... I keep forgetting his name. The fucking dude from Ant-Man and the Wasp who is just so pathetic. But yeah, Vision is obviously now starting to work out that like this whole thing is fake. He's starting to see all the hints everywhere. There's fucking that girl. I keep forgetting her name. The one like she's credited as Noisy Neighbor on Google Cast. I keep forgetting her name. Is it Candace? I feel like it's Candace. I don't know. She was in there. Like, people have been theorizing for ages that she's going to be a big part of it, and yeah, she's definitely a big part of it. She had a lot of lines in this that were definitely hitting towards that. Her picture in the back still doesn't have an ID attached to it. She's definitely important. The whole thing with the kids was kind of funny. Like the fact that they aged up right away was just like, what the fuck? And then like, I don't know. I thought it was entertaining. It was weird, but it was like a lot of the stuff was funny and weird at the same time. If you know what I mean. Then there was the whole thing with the dog, where the kids were trying to hide the dog from Wanda, and then all that shit happens. And then Wanda sort of starts to break her own rules. That was a big sort of thing in this one. It's like, who's really in control? That was kind of a big thing in this one. It was like, who's in control? Like, why Wanda's breaking her own rules? Like, all this kind of stuff. It was really weird. I feel like the main protagonist in this one, I feel like more was, it was more Vision, because like it was kind of all more about Vision. Wanda kind of took a backseat in this one, which was kind of interesting, but I liked it. The whole thing with the kids was weird. Obviously, the weirdest part of this episode, well, aside from something which, if you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. We'll get to that. If you haven't watched the episode, why are you still watching? But no, was the part where she went outside and the fucking wanker. Why are military guys always so trigger happy? In situations like that, military guys should know not to fire. Why in movies are military guys always so prone to shoot? Could somebody explain that to me? That's a fucking cliche. Military guy shoots at the wrong time cliche. Make that other thing sound sense. Actually, you know what? I don't want any more sense in my life. That's a joke. I actually don't hate Cinema Sense. But, yeah, that happened. And then the weirdest part was whenever Wanda walked out of the hex, as fucking Darcy's calling it. Oh, God. Whenever she walked out of the hex and threw the thing down in front of them, I was not expecting that to happen. I wasn't expecting Wanda to walk out. Although, one little critique I have of that scene, did Wanda have her accent in that scene? I know that she was supposed to have dropped the accent like in like Civil War. She had it in Age of Ultron, and she basically dropped it in Civil War, and it was completely gone in Infinity War and Endgame. To be first, to be first, she barely had any lines in Endgame, and then she hasn't had her accent throughout this whole show. And then suddenly, when she walks out of the hex, suddenly I can't tell. I feel like she has it back. Some words or something a little bit weird, but also not at the same time. Like, did anyone else notice that, or is that just me going crazy? And then there's like, they're all trying to explain to her, like, Wanda, you've kidnapped all these people, this isn't right. And she's like, you're the guys with guns. Like, she's kind of trying to excuse it. Then she walks back in. And then she goes into the kitchen, and her and Vision start to have, like, a big argument, because Vision's starting to get pissed. Like, after what happened in work, where he, like freed the dude, and he was like, help me, I need to call my family, where's my phone? And all this stuff, and then he puts him back, and he's like, hey, do I need a stamp to send an email? That kind of thing. And then they start arguing, and the credits start to roll, which I guarantee you, there's some Easter eggs in those credits. There's definitely some Easter eggs in those credits. But and they start to argue, and whenever they walk into the other room, they start flying and shit. The credits disappear, and like Vision is properly going mental at Wanda. Like, he is going like, I don't remember my life before Westview. Like, this isn't like, you don't get to make these choices for me. What's out there and all that stuff. And the door knocks. And Vision thinks it's Wanda, and she's like, that's not me. And he's like, why should I believe you? Then she goes and she opens the door. And I swear to God, the minute the door opened, I don't know why, the minute it opened, it just clicked in my head. It's gonna be Pietro. It's gonna be Pietro. Like, I fucking knew it was gonna be him. Just whenever she opened the door, you know what I mean? And then whenever I saw the back of his head afterwards, I was like, oh my God, it is Pietro. What I didn't expect was it for it to be Evan Peters as fucking Quicksilver. So, for those of you who watched it and aren't aware of who that is, in the X-Men, the Fox X-Men films from before Disney bought Fox and X-Men came back into Marvel's hands, fucking Evan Peters played Quicksilver, because obviously there was a big thing, like, fucking Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were created as Avengers, but they're also technically mutants. It's nothing to do with the X-Men, it's to do with the term mutant. It's because they're mutants, but they're also originally Avengers. There's a bit of a legal loophole there where both of them own the characters at the same time. So in 2014, we had two films, one from Fox and one from Disney, and both of them had a version of Quicksilver. The Fox one was better. Not just talking about the film, I'm talking about the character. I love Evan Peters as Quicksilver. I fucking thought he was great. He was great in Days of Future Past. He was one of the best things about Apocalypse. His fucking sweet dream scene was like the best part of the whole film, and he barely did anything in Dark Phoenix. Fuck Dark Phoenix. But honestly, I know they're not going to do this, but I swear to God, they better keep him on as Quicksilver, because I fucking love his Quicksilver, man. Love it. Like, I thought he was so fucking. He was the best part of most of the films he was in. Not Days of Future Past, because he was barely really in that. But yeah, he was good. You know what I mean. But yeah, I swear to God, like literally after the episode ended, I had to take like a good 10 minutes just to process the fact that that had just happened, because that is that's a much bigger deal than I think people realize, because this is the first proper like Fox crossover that we're seeing. Because obviously we know that Fox has been bought by Disney. We know that Marvel now owns the rights to all the film rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four again. Now we're actually starting to see it, and it's like, oh my God, this is actually happening. And also, I feel like this could be one of two things. All right, this could either be, oh, they wanted to have Pietro, and they wanted to have a recast thing, and they just got Evan Peters in because, you know, the fan base will get the joke. Or this is a multiverse round, because we know that WandaVision is going to tie heavily into fucking Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. So maybe this is a multiverse thing. If it's a multiverse thing, then maybe we could see Evan Peters stick around as Quicksilver, which I swear to God, I really, really want that. I love his Quicksilver so much. Like, I like the other Quicksilver. He was fine, and he was good. Like, he was a good character. In Age of Ultron, like, he was one of the better parts of Age of Ultron, to be fair, probably because everyone else is so fucking boring. The best part of Age of Ultron was Hawkeye, but I swear to God, I cannot wait for the next episode now. Like, that was mad. Also, before the episode came out, Elizabeth Olsen, I can't fucking talk. Elizabeth Olsen said, I don't know whether I'm going to cut this out or not. Elizabeth Olsen said that fucking there was going to be a Luke Skywalker level cameo, obviously referencing the Mandalorian and the Luke Skywalker cameo in that. And I watched Sean Chandler Talks About Movies, and he said that he doesn't think this is it, because he doesn't consider Evan Peters fucking Quicksilver to be a Luke Skywalker level cameo, which the character isn't, but the context in which this happened, that's Pietro coming back, which is kind of nuts, considering he was like Uncle Ben dead, as comic book fans call it. Like, whenever someone is like permanently dead, you call them Uncle Ben. You call them Uncle Ben dead. That's the name for it. And then so there's that, and it's also the first time that we're crossing over with the X-Men, kind of. I mean, yeah, that is what it is. And it's also, you gotta think, she was talking about earlier on in the episode, whenever the dog died, and the kids were like, oh, bring it back. We've brought people back to life before, and she said you can't just bring people back to life to get over your grief. And it's kind of implied that that's what she did here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but she was surprised. She's surprised at a lot of things in this show, which she clearly did. So no, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like she said this to her kids, but even though she's doing the exact same thing kind of thing. I feel like that's kind of the point they're trying to get across. But I'm not going to say much more. I'm definitely going to talk about it again once they actually start to flesh his character out a little more, and we find out whether he's permanently staying, which, please, or if he's just kind of there for the time being, just, you know, as a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of thing. But I guess we'll see. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me which version of Quicksilver do you prefer? Do you prefer the X-Men version, Evan Peters, or do you prefer the other version whose actor I actually don't know the name of? For me, it's definitely Evan Peters. I loved his version of Quicksilver. I thought he was great. Probably not too comic accurate. I don't know. I don't really know much about Quicksilver in the comics. They were both quippy. They were both funny smartasses, but I don't know. I just thought Evan Peters' one was hilarious. And they're sticking to his personality. They're not making him act like the other one. They're actually sticking to his personality from the other one. Subscribe to Hello Ray. I'll see you all next time. Peace.